Damon Blackshear comes through us with relative ease and with style points, pulling off a twister submission. I believe he's only the third person in UFC history to pull that off, and gladly he was our lock of the night prediction that night as well, so that just made it even more sweeter. Valentin Moldavsky comes through for us also on Bellator, which now pushes our lock of the night prediction record to 66-21 on the year for plus 19.80 units for a 4% ROI. Very happy with that, and obviously want to continue to get it up into the 20s, 30s, and 40 units before the end of the year, but it's going to be a slow and steady race the way that we take it. So appreciate everybody bearing with your boy. I know I've done the back-to-back weeks of 4-in-1 segments and just rushing everything at the end of the week, but I'm finally over COVID and we can get back to dropping these videos one day a week so that we can, get back to the regularly scheduled programming. So I appreciate everybody bearing with your boy during that time. Quickly want to plug the MMA Fight Archive. This weekend we have PFL, LFA, the UFC, and KSW going down. So if you're looking to do research on these cards and want to get direct links to past fights for all of the competitors on those cards, the MMA Fight Archive is where you can check it out. And there's a reason why a lot of the top cappers in the space use it. A lot of the commentators in the space use it as well, so that they're more than informed and ready to portray every fighter as best as they can to the viewer and fans. They use the MMA Fight Archive 7-day free trial for you to check it out for free before you have to shell out any money. Check the link in the description below. Let's get right into the top 3 lock of the night candidates for UFC 292. A little bit chalk heavy this week because I feel good about some of these spots, but there's only one that I ended up going with as my lock of the night prediction. And if you want to find out what that is, make sure you check the link in my description below for my personal Patreon page, the lock of the night Patreon page. That's where you'll be able to find which lock of the night I actually went with. First candidate up is going to be Austin Hubbard against Kurt Hollabaugh. Hubbard obviously trying to win the Ultimate Fighter finale for the lightweight division and regain a contract with the UFC in a way that I thought he should have already been in the UFC. He's a solid striker, and I think that's going to allow him to stay competitive with the slugger that is Kurt Hollabaugh, and that will eventually allow Hubbard to use a newfound wrinkle in his game that he's been using quite often since getting initially cut from the UFC, and that's the takedown game, the wrestling game. And that's what Kurt Hollabaugh seems to have a lot of trouble with in a lot of the fights that he ends up coming up short in. Even the opening round matchup that he had on the Ultimate Fighter against Connor's roster member, he got out grappled for 95% of that fight until he latched onto a Hail Mary guillotine and was able to come on through with that and then advance to the next round. Hubbard will not make those mistakes. I believe Hubbard is well polished enough to grind out Hollabaugh over 15 minutes here and win this fight pretty easily. Give me Austin Hubbard as the first candidate of the lock of the night prediction. Second candidate, chalkiest one we're going to have here, but this one seems to be a shoe-in in most people's minds, including myself. Gregory Rodriguez at minus 350. We know what Dennis Tululian's weakness is. That's takedown defense and submission defense, as his last 3 losses have all come by that. Gregory Rodriguez is a high-level BJJ black belt, and he's very strong when he's able to get these opponents to the ground and dominate from on top. His striking is not that bad either, but considering that he's coming off of a knockout loss from back in January, I think that he's going to look to take this fight to the ground and choose the path of least resistance so that he can go out there and get a quick win here, get back on the winning track, and then get back to improving the rest of his game. But I think that this is a pretty easy matchup for him, a layup of a matchup for him out there, which is why he's going to be the second lock of the night candidate. Third and final lock of the night candidate that I have for you guys is going to be Zhang Weili coming in at minus 280. She's obviously in the co-main event taking on Amanda Lemos, who's very finish-centric. If she's unable to get the finish, more often than not, she's going to come up on the losing end. But she's going up against a fighter here that she's going to struggle to assert that striking dominance with. We know how dominant of a striker Zhang Weili is, and she'll be able to crash that pocket, land her big punches, and even mix in some takedowns to wear on the gas tank of Lemos. Once she's able to suck dry the energy reserves of Lemos, I fully expect Zhang Weili to take over in the latter half of this matchup and look for a finish from that top position. If you want to hone in on her inside the distance around that minus 130 range, that might not be a bad way to take off some of the chalk here, but still, I believe she has Lemos covered everywhere. Of course, Lemos has the Hail Mary submission or club and sub or even just knockout possibility, but I think that Zhang Weili is too well-rounded for her and too discipline to get caught like something like that from a fighter like Lamos, who we all know that's likely her only path to victory. So give me Zhang Weili as the final lock of the night candidate for UFC 292. Reminder, if you want to figure out which one I went with to go on my official record, check the link in the description below for my personal Patreon page. That's where I'm going to have it posted for you guys. All right, I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the top 3 dog of the night candidates for UFC 292. Peace.